Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we will continue talking about the 27th Nongshim Cup. In the last game, we talked about the game between Tan Xiao and Lee JiHyun. And Tan Xiao has successfully turned the game around and won the game. So now it's Tan Xiao against a Japanese 9-dan, Hsu Chia-yuan. Hsu Chia-yuan is a Taiwanese player, but then he later on moved to Japan and now he is representing Japan to fight in the Nongshim Cup. Hsu Chia-yuan is playing as black and Tan Xiao is playing as white. The game starts out like this. Usually we would play moves such as the corner enclosure so that the stone is facing white. This is a little bit rare, but of course this is very playable. White approaches, black plays the Kosumi, and white plays the 2-space jump. And here, black approaches the corner and they played out a very simple Joseki, and after which white encloses the corner, very solid, and black, of course, comes back and take the very important move that connects the two sides. That's building a giant moyo over here. Next up, we have white playing the 2-space extension. This is looking at the weaknesses that black has over here and also kind of expand himself. Alternatively, white can also think about maybe try to suppress black over here. Right? If black plays the 2-space extension, then white can play a Keima in the center. So we're building some territory over here, and we're also looking at some weaknesses that black has. So in this type of setting, it's more stable, and now it's pretty much we're going towards an endgame very soon, right? If the game plays out like this. So in the actual game, white plays the 2-space extension. Of course, a very big move, but then black gets the pincer. We can see that black is kind of extending on both sides and building a very nice moyo. White now comes into the moyo, and black peeps and jumps towards the center, trying to put pressure on white's stone. White adds another move to secure the stone. That's a very important move. If white plays greedy and play elsewhere, then black gets the 1-space extension. We can see that white's stone doesn't have any roots, and therefore white has to run towards the center, and it's not easy to deal with. In the actual game, white plays the 1-space extension, and now white has a very flexible move, right? If black tries to attack from this side, then white can play the Keima. We can see white's shape is very flexible, and this also puts pressure on black's formation. Alternatively, if black jumps and take the vital point, then white can either hop out, or white can simply build a small base over here, and now temporarily white has no problem. In the actual game, black decides to kind of invade white's moyo. So this move is, of course, okay, but I think a better move for human is to actually follow up with the idea of building a moyo. That is to press white on top. White has to respond, and the black's follow-up is to play the Keima. So this move is slightly faster than simply extending, right? So when we play this, we're looking at the attach next, and we're also looking at, so if white somehow responds here, then black can jump over here, and we can see these two moves are coordinated very well, and we have a very big moyo. And of course, if white takes that point away, which is probably the best move to play, then black can try to suppress white by attaching like this. If white hanes, we can bump into white and extend. We can see that white is all onto the third line and second line. So this is also a very good follow-up for black. In the actual game, black decides to invade. White attaches, black extends, white connects, and black plays out a Joseki. And here white follows up by directly attacking black. This is of course a very good local follow-up, and it's something we should learn locally. But I think here there are two maybe more, not better choices, but more clear or simple to manage choices. One is for white to really take this vital point away from black, right? Whenever white gets this move, we can see that it strengthens this group, but it's also suppressing black's moyo. So it's a very good directional move to play right now. The other very big move is for white to slide into the corner, because this is a lot of territory and adds a layer of security for the two stones over here. This is also a very big move. For example, if black plays here, then black can kick and then block on top. We can see that this move puts a lot of pressure on the group here, and also it's building a little bit of territory on the bottom side. So those are really good choices for white. In the actual game, white decides to attack black, which is also a good choice. The only problem with this is that after black responds, so also locally, white's best move is to extend. And black, of course, plays the tiger's mouth and white pushes. So if black blocks, then white ataris, black connects, and then white connect over here, which is a sente. If black captures, then later on white can play the keima and making sure black isn't alive, strictly speaking, right? So that's a very good local follow-up for white. Except at this point, of course, black is not going to respond to white, right? Responding is very painful, and therefore black just tenuki, and that's the correct idea. Black presses white on top, white blocks, and black extends, white blocks, and black hanes. White hanes and black extends, and here white pushes and black keeps extending. And because of the weaknesses that white has, white adds an extra move, not only fix the weakness, but also getting rid of the ice space from black. So at this point, we can see that black built a very nice outside, and white took a lot of territory, right? The fact that white was able to get this move means that this is kind of dropping dead. Like this group is kind of dropping dead. So that's a lot of profits for white. And black really has to focus on building the moyo on the bottom. Next up, we have black turning here. That's a very important move. This is not only building on the bottom side, but this move also helps out the group over here. And here white decides to invade. This is a very risky move by white. I'm not saying it's not a good move, but I think this move is quite risky. Maybe white has a different choice, right? I'm not sure exactly what. I haven't checked with AI on this part because I'm mostly following the professional commentary that I got. But I think, so what happens in this game is white is very greedy, right? White claims so much profit on the top side. And now white is saying, hey, what is mine, what is yours is also mine. I'm going to come in, break this territory. My group over here is going to be fine. And you have absolutely nothing left. So it's a very aggressive and almost like an overplay, but not really, because this is fine, right? Invading like this is fine if you can manage it well. So at this point, black pretty much has no choice. Like black has to kill something to get the territorial balance back into his favor, because black lost a bunch on top. There's a very solid corner for white over here, and white still destroys like black's moyo. So black now plays the jump over here. That's the correct move. First, we have to make sure that these things, the two groups don't connect, right? For example, if you just protect the territory over here, then likely white is going to have some sort of move. It's a very light move, right? It kind of connects the two groups, and black doesn't really want that to happen, because even if you're able to kill the stone over here, white's group here is too comfortable. So in the actual game, it's better to separate the two white groups and try to attack both. White now slides into black's territory, and black decides to attack this group first. White blocks and black extends, getting rid of the ice base. And here white has to jump towards the center, right? If you rush to live here, then when black caps like this, this is way too difficult for white. In the actual game, white hops out. That's the correct idea. And black follows up with the idea of disconnecting the two groups. White extends and black connects. And here, white plays the keima, trying to live locally. So white, of course, has no problem living this group. So now black's focus is really onto this group. Black pushes on top. That's a shape move. And white hanes. And here, black plays the second line, trying to basically squeeze white's ice space. So at this point, the game is still kind of equal, actually. It looks like black is under a lot of pressure. And yes, definitely, he is under a lot of pressure in terms of territory. So here, black's correct idea is actually quite simple. It's just to kill white. All right, so there's no negotiation to be had. Black doesn't have to worry about like the corner territory or the side territory. Black should focus only on one thing, that is to slaughter this dragon over here. And that's the only way to win this game. So with that in mind, black's move over here is incorrect. Okay, so if this was Asami Ueno playing black, then what she would have played is to kick here. White blocks, black honeys, this is all sente, right? So black gives up even more territory. And then black plays another move to prepare for the attack by cutting here. White has to capture, black Ataris, white takes. So after the preparation move, we can see that black is extremely strong on the outside. And now black can go for the kill. And this is one of the rare cases where black has to kill, right? This is not like an attack. Black is just trying to slaughter the dragon, and that's it. There's no negotiation to be had. It's a pure life and death reading game. Black's follow-up is to play the peep here, getting rid of the white's eye space. White pushes, black bumps into white, white turns, and black plays the bamboo. So we can see that white probably has an eye in Gote on the bottom side, but how is white gonna find another eye in the center, right? This is actually quite dangerous for white, to be honest. I don't see a very good way for white to get out of this, right? Black's done a lot of preparation, sacrificed a lot of territory just for the kill. And the game is very exciting, actually, if the game plays out like this. If white plays the Kosumi, then we can simply cap white inside. To be honest, if I was playing as white in this game, I would be having a big chill on my spine right now. Like I would feel like I can die here. It's actually very dangerous for white, right? Like maybe, I don't know, like how do you feel about surviving here as white? You can comment below and in the comment section. For me, if I'm playing against someone similar to my level, I feel like I'm gonna die here. So it's very risky for white, actually. So this is what black should have played, and this is exactly what the commentator said, right? Like, why not just go for the kill, right? Why always drag yourself into an endgame or just play very soft? When it's time to kill, you got to go for it. And then that's the fighting spirit in the game of Go. All right, so that's not what happened in the actual game. And I think in the actual game, Hsu Chia-yuan has played the wrong idea. When black plays the peep over here, the idea is still trying to drag white into an endgame. But obviously, as we can see, white has just massive territory, and competing white in terms of territory is not like a great idea. So at this point, if white blocks, that would be a mistake because black can go from this side, right? And then we can see white doesn't have enough eye space. And therefore, white cannot allow this exchange to happen. So the correct move is what white played in the actual game, is to play the Kema first. Black blocks, and now white comes back to block here. If black clamps, then white can push and Atari, and then we can see that white has enough eye space to live. In the actual game, black decides to go for the attack after the exchange. White blocks, black extends, and white connects. And here, black plays a move over here. So this move has been very harshly criticized by the commentator. And I cannot agree more. This is a really bad move by Hsu Chia-yuan. And it's, I don't think he misread here. It's just that he didn't have the determination to kill white here. But this is really what you should do as black right now, because black doesn't have territory, right? All what's black territory is focused on this corner, right? And then if you count black's territory, you can barely find 20 points. And white has just so much. Like this corner is already 20 points, plus this side, plus over here, plus you have a lot of weak stones over here, and white still has like a small amount of territory over here. So there's no chance for black to win this game by competing in terms of territory. Black really has to kill. And it's one of the rare cases where this has to happen. Like the kill has to happen for black to even have a chance. When black plays this move, the problem is that white's going to kick, black extends, white harness, and after the exchange, white gets an eye in the center. And this eye is really important. With this eye, it's kind of impossible for black to kill because white only needs to find another eye to live. And after white lives, I have no idea how black is going to compete against white in terms of territory. And this kind of, I think the commentator spent like 10 minutes or something just criticizing Black for his play. I won't do that, but I'll still translate some of the message. But pretty much what he said is that this is just way too soft from Black, right? This is not what you should play as a 9-dan professional, because if you think about all the great players, Lee Sedol or Shinjin Saw, or some of the best Chinese and or Korean players, or even the best Japanese players from the old times, like Chochikon or Ayo Sakata, even what you realize is that they put a lot of pressure on their opponent, right? But then when we watch Hsu Chia-yuan's play, he's a 9-dan professional, but I really can't see that. I can't see the strength of a 9-dan professional from Black's play, right? Every move is very soft, and Black is just very behind. And it's not like he's like 5 points behind. He's actually like way more than 5 points behind in this game. And yeah, it's just a little bit disappointing to see Black playing like this. It could have been such an amazing game where Black goes for the kill, and even if Black fails, I still think that would be that would be very nice. Like I think the game of Go is sometimes not about if you win or if you lose, but rather it's about the process and it's about the quality of your game. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you are, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. And if you want to dive deeper and support what I'm doing, check out my Patreon. I regularly post exclusive high-quality content on Joseki's, pro game breakdowns, and even full courses. Stuff you won't find anywhere else. The link is in the description. Thanks so much. Let's continue. So at this point in the game, White has an absolutely enormous lead at this point, right? Like because White broke the territory over here, and White broke the territory over here. So all what Black got in compensation is a little bit of a potential on the left side, and that's just not close to enough to compete against White. Next up, Black tries to get rid of the ice space on the bottom, and White hops out. Black also hops out to try to cap White inside, and White plays a shape move. Black peeps White's ice space, and White push a couple times, and at this point, White extends, trying to threaten Black's weakness, and Black attaches to try to get home. And now we can see this second line peep looks really out of place, right? Now you obviously have a broken shape. When White turns here, it's all broken. But of course, White doesn't have time right now. White still needs to get the group out, but it's just very easy for a 9-dan professional to get White out at this point. So at this point, the game gets a little bit one-sided because we can see, obviously, White is just out. So at this point, you see the shape problems that Black has, right? There's a broken shape. Okay, and now Black connects. It's not a broken shape. White now jumps towards the center, and this is looking at the weakness. White is going to honey next and try to kill Black's group over here. But I still think, even if this variation doesn't work for Black, Black should still block over here to try to go for a final fight. At least you died fighting, not just resigning. But in the actual game, Black blocks, and White turns, and Black honeys over here. So White's dragon is just more than fine at this point, right? Because there's an eye, there's obviously an eye over here, and there's gonna be an eye over here, and White still has ways to get out. So this dragon is completely safe. For example, White can pretty much live with one move like this, right? If Black kicks, White blocks. Black tries to poke the ice space. White Atari, and then just connect. Now we can see White is just alive. If Black peeps, then we can block it, and then we see that White has no problem living the dragon. So White's group is very, very safe, right? There's like zero risk, and it's just Black kind of waiting for the loss. So at this point, White honeys, Black cuts, and White Ataris over here. That's a Sente, and White extends out. So extending here is looking at the Atari and drag all the way. So Black cannot allow that. Therefore, first Black plays the Hane here, and White tries to poke at Black's weakness. Black has to Hane, White connects, Black peeps, and White connects. And here Black comes back to fix it. Because if you don't fix it, White's next move is going to be the Kosumi. For example, if you extend out, then white plays the Kosumi, and we can see like black just has too much weaknesses. There's a push and cut here. So if black fixed here, then white can cut over here, and this group is also dead. So black had to defend it, and we can see that black got absolutely nothing from this attack. White Ataris and black squeeze white. White plays the bamboo and black connects. So after this Atari, we can see that even white got some territory in the process. And now white finally comes back to save the dragon. Black plays the Kema, trying to threaten life and death of white here. White blocks, and black drags the stone back. So here, at this point, this is obviously a very big losing game for black, and it's completely hopeless. First of all, this group is alive. This dragon we said many times is alive. White has a giant amount of territory, and white has a very solid corner. And the only concern is this group alive? And the answer is definitely yes, because if black peeps in, white connects, black blocks, and white can cut on the outside. When black plays the Atari, white connects. So first of all, this group can't even live, right? Even if this group manages to live in a magical way, then white also has a cut, right? So if black blocks, white can drag stone back, and we see that this group is captured. So black has to play like this, but then white just captured 2 stones, and we can see that white has no problem living. So white is so safe in this game. Absolutely no risk. So let's just see a few more moves, even if it's kind of boring and painful to watch. So black decides to fight a Ko, and white knows that he is so ahead, so he doesn't care. So eventually, they play out some endgame moves in the center. Black cuts, Atari, and I think it was at this point when black bumps into white, the commentator said that white can pretty much pass a move, and it's still going to be a winning game, right? Pretty much white can say, hey, I'm going to pass, and you play another move, and I'm still winning. That's how big the advantage for white is, which is absolutely insane to see in a professional game. So it's crazy. So in terms of points, white can probably pay the Komi right now. Like, not probably. Actually, white can definitely pay for the Komi and still win, right? It's supposed to be black giving white 6.5 points. But white now can give black 6.5 points and still win. And this is how big the lead for white is at this point. So I think at this point, I'll just not talk about what happened next, because it's completely useless. It's almost like when you're watching an NBA game and you're leading by 50 points and no one cares about what happens. And it's kind of unfortunate to see such a game in the Nongshim Cup. Where, I mean, each country finds the top 5 players they can find to represent the country. You usually expect more exciting and higher quality game. But in this game, I guess Hsu Chia-yuan as a 9P professional just feels absent, or yeah, he's just not there, right? Like the way he plays is way too soft. I couldn't tell if this is from a 9P professional or like a 7-dan amateur level player. And yeah, that is unfortunate. And I think Hsu Chia-yuan has a lot to reflect on from this game. And yeah, I mean, Hsu Chia-yuan is definitely a very like good player. I think I've seen some of his games before. I never talked about one, but I think he's a very strong player, and he has won against strong players before as well. But today, I guess it's just not his game. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this game. At this point in the Nongshim Cup, China is left with 4 players, and Korea is left also with 4 players, and Japan has, I think, either 2 or 3 players left. I'm not exactly sure, because I know for sure that at least 2 players have been eliminated from Japan. So it's likely a 4-4-3 for China, Korea, and Japan. So the games will get a lot more exciting because Korea still has Shinjin Saw and Park Jung-hwan. And I think the other 2 guys, one of them is Shin Min-jun, is also a world champion. And China, of course, has like 4 world champions left, including Tan Xiao, who's doing super well right now. So the games are very exciting. Let's see if Shinjin Saw can hold the Chinese team this time.